How's it going, everyone? We are Corternity of Dice. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be episode 2 of our series called Tales of Engliria, a series where we're playing the game Pathfinder, a tabletop role-playing game that is a fantasy-esque game. Characters are going to be played by these lovely players here. They will use a mix of magic, might, sorcery, divine power, what have you, to solve mysteries, fight monsters, and become heroes. We will be uploading once a week, and we can't wait to see where this goes, and we're happy to have you guys joining with us. So before we get into it, Abby, you want to briefly mention something?
Yeah. Please check out our social medias. The links are down in the description. We look forward to engaging with all of you.
Brent?
Please take into account that this is our first time really doing this channel and still learning the ropes of Pathfinder. So please, if you have any criticism, any constructive criticism, any helpful words of wisdom, we will gladly take it. Just remember, we're all trying to have fun here. Be nice. We're all just trying to enjoy things and learn as we go.
And to everyone out there, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos.
Perfect. And one last thing is, as we go along, as we grow, there might be more announcements, but for now, this is all we need to talk about. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our video this week. And we are back. So, last session, the first session of this campaign, a lot went down. You guys started off in a small town called Aldenair, in a smallish continent that was mostly mountainous to the northern end of it, called Ichinacha, where you all, as members of a traveling circus, had made landfall in this city to by ship to put on a performance. You guys mainly stayed on two interconnected continents to try to do your performances, but you guys had decided as a circus that you wanted to branch out. So you come to this city to put on a performance, and the day before the day that you guys had arrived, the evening of that day, some event had transpired while the three of you had stayed in town and helped out the harbor master with something in their basement. Something bad actually happened, and it was the death of a small boy in the city who had found some unsanctioned and unstable magic items in a little box and messed with them, and they went off, and he unfortunately did not make it to the blast. Despite that, the circus did decide to hold their show the next day, and so the show was given in the young boy's honor, who was a fan of circuses. You guys did your performances, oohed and awed the crowd, acrobatics acts, puppetry acts, animal taming acts, all kinds of things. After the circus, though, after the performance had ended and people had went back to town, one of you, Zavi, was investigating around the scene, looking to see if any loose coin had been dropped or anything along those lines. Maybe looking for some kind of next small little job to find. During the course of your stealthing around the camp, you overheard a conversation between your ringmaster and some unknown figure. who were talking about what to do about this death. The box that the magic items had been housed in had the stamp, the symbol of your guys' circus, and so it was led back to you guys. And those two people had decided that someone needed framed so that the whole entire circus didn't go down. And it was suggested the three of you because you guys had been wanting to be in town, and because Zavi specifically had a history of not quite on the up and up, not quite criminal, but not on the up and up. And so it was given as an idea to get rid of the three of you and put you up, to frame you. Given that you heard that, you snuck off in just a way to see the back end of the shadowy figure you didn't recognize. And saw that he was humanoid, rather tall and slender, and had long silver hair, platinum blonde silver hair. Met up with Orion in his tent and told him about what was happening. And Kaya happened to be there, getting ready to play a prank on Orion. And the three of you talked about the situation and decided it was best to get out. Because they would have put you to death for what happened, no doubt. So you all went down to the harbor, the port of the town, and in the middle of the night, knocked on the door of the harbor master, the person who had helped the day before, rid her of some varmint in her basement. And she, knowing that you could be trusted, knowing that you had nothing to do with what happened, housed you in her basement. She also recognized that she wouldn't have been able to talk the guards out of blaming you. She knew personally that you guys didn't have anything to do with it, but she didn't have evidence to support it, so she couldn't give that. You guys hid out in her basement overnight, and the next morning she smuggled you onto one of two ships that were leaving town, and you guys made a choice. One was going to go possibly to a city called Water's Edge. The other going to a city called Syota. Both seemed good, but neither went to where you wanted to go. You want to go to a city called Hookhandle, because you during the overhearing of the conversation, Zavi had realized that the shadowy figure said that he was the supplier of these magic items, and that he was more of a transport. His supplier was in Hookhandle. And so you guys have made the decision that if you went to Hookhandle, you might potentially be able to clear your names, find this evidence, take the evidence off yourselves, and clear your names. So neither of those two places, Syota or Water's Edge, are close to where you want to go. But you decided to go to Water's Edge, or Syota, because Water's Edge was in a continent that one of you wanted to stick a little bit away from it. After getting on the ship and helping the crew a little bit over 4 days of water travel, you arrived at Syota, a large port town in the mostly desertish continent of Soriko. The city itself is undergoing a little bit of a crisis, though, when you arrive. Yes, they are a port town, but they are out of water, fresh water. There is a river right below the city that feeds it fresh water, but it has dried up and is no longer working. Something's blocking it, or something's emptied it. And you decided to look into that, because you had found from the harbor master of Syota that if you could figure that out, he would pay personally for your transport over to Hookhandle from Syota. Also, while looking into this, you found out something else was happening. Some other weird thing going on that's kind of diverting the attention of the guards. And that is that Syota, being called the City of Monuments, someone's been attacking the monuments, destroying them, vandalizing them in some cases. And this is an expensive endeavor, and people want to know why it's happening and who's doing it and how to stop them. You guys decided that, well, you might want to look into that, because your ship from Syota to Hookhandle is not leaving until 8 days later from when you arrived. So you got time to kill, and this could actually earn you guys some money too, because as we discovered, you guys are a little bit low on funds, because you didn't get paid for your performance before you were run out. With that said, we left off with you guys talking to one of the officers of the military detachment there in Syota, an elf by the name of Hana Ogawa. And she's the one that's working on getting you guys information. We left off right as you started talking to her. So we will begin immediately at that moment. So, Hana Ogawa has told you guys that someone has been doing this vandalism for days. Um, and that they're working on putting together a listing of which ones have been vandalized, which ones haven't been. But getting that list together is kind of Herculean. So with that said, what would you guys continue talking about? And I think you were in the middle of talking to her, or had just ended talking to her. I don't quite remember. It's been.
I was going to say we managed to get a stamp from her to approve for us to get supplies in order to help out the guards with their situations.
Yes.
So this is where I would say we either ended the conversation or we could possibly ask her more questions on what's going on. From what we've known from the locals, from what we've heard, considering Zavi picked up on some of their conversation, and so did Kaya, it was where it seems that something's happening strange at where the river is supposed to be flowing from. But from what we've heard about the monuments, they've been defaced.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, she's definitely able to get you guys a stipend that can get you some basic supplies. Obviously, she's not going to not going to deck you out or anything. But they know that you're going out into the desert for the most part, and so they will help you out with some small basic necessities for that. And looking at the stipend that she gives you guys with the stamp, it actually tells you that there is a quartermaster depot office 2 doors down from where you guys are. That if you give that to the clerk there, they will bring you the supplies you need. So it's like an outfitting store for the military / police force, if you want to call it that. And then I think, if I recall correctly, one of you had asked if they have a list. I don't know if one of you did, but I feel like one of you asked if they had a list of all the monuments and then a list of the ones who specifically have been hit. So 2 separate lists, one of all of them in general, and then one of which ones have been hit. Did someone ask for that? I don't think you guys did, actually. So that's something
I did not.
I think you guys discussed asking about that, but didn't actually get there. So you're still in the office. If you want to ask her for that, she can get that to you. Or try. So at this point, it's up to you guys. What do you want to do?
If she can get us the list, and I'm also gonna ask, is there any place like location-wise where has been hit more than others, so we have like a general idea of where they're located in the city, more or less?
You know what, ma'am? It's not going to be easy for me to know. Do you have an idea of how many monuments are in this city?
A lot.
At last count that I know of, 6,800. And so I'm trying to field reports from everyone, but I haven't gotten a chance to put them all together because it's kind of vast. Um, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to be able to do it tonight. It's going to be too much to try to do all before the end of the night. But if you give me until maybe early morning tomorrow, I can reach out to people throughout the city and try to get this list put together. And I'll give you guys something that's got all the monuments, at least I hope that I can, where they're at, and then if they've been hit or not. And maybe even a little detail of what they are so you know what you're looking for. I don't want to give you guys a guarantee I can get that, because that's a huge task. That's a lot here. I'm sure somewhere is a master list, but if the city lord has that, they didn't give it to me. Um, but I think I might be able to put that together, but I won't get it before the end of the night. You guys
Even
have
if you can, even if you can just say like break it into districts and this many have been hit here and this many have been hit here, that would be helpful. That can
yeah,
help us narrow it down possibly.
I think I can do that. I think I can do that for you. Where are you guys staying? Have you even gotten a hotel? How long have you been in the city?
Oh, like this, what we arrived
See, what time?
this afternoon,
About midday-ish.
morning. Yeah, so like a couple hours.
Oh, oh. Well, I can. I. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we're just really helpful citizens. Kaya,
Okay.
Orion, and Zabi, really helpful citizens.
It definitely seems that way. I agree. Um, have any of you been in this city before?
No.
Nope.
I mean, once, but that was when I was traveling, but it was very for a short time.
So you don't even know where to stay. Um, there's a couple different options I can help you guys with. I'll give you a couple different ones. You tell me which one sounds best, and then that way I can have word sent to there whenever we're ready with the information. If that works for you. Um, so there's the Edge of Sands Inn at the um, southern end of town. There is the um, Maki no Kushin Inn, which is in center of town. Maki no Kushin actually means center of town in Elvish, if none of you knew that. Um, and then there's the Manor House Inn, which is right next to the the Grand Manor. Um, Based on she gives all three of you guys a really hard up and down. And she says, "I don't think Manor House Inn is for you." I mean, no disrespect. It's just it's upscale, and the sound of your coin purses. Not a lot of jingles.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's yeah.
As an officer, it's my
I don't
duty
give off a look
to
for
read.
it.
Well, nothing about that. It's more about the way you present yourselves, the way you talk, walk, not just your looks. You peg me as people that travel a lot. You also peg me as people that like to have fun. Um, so,
I
I
don't
would
know if I'm getting a good read
recommend.
on this.
What was that?
I don't know if I'm getting a good read on this person.
um, she flat out tells you, being an officer, it's my duty to read people, to understand their motives.
You're too good. I don't like it.
Right. So, I would recommend to the three of you either the Edge of Sands Inn or the Maki no Cushion Inn. Um, Either would work best for you all. Which one do you think sounds best? You want to know about them a little bit?
Well, the edge of sands, I assume, is at the edge of town, right?
Correct. It's right as you enter town, from the biggest entranceway to the road.
And that is towards where the river came in at, correct?
Yeah, below the southern entrance of town, the river is a few stones throws away off the road.
Probably that.
But if you can tell us about those two, or those two inns, if you could, if there's any details about them.
Sure. I have a little bit of information about them. The Edge of Sands Inn is busy. It's used. It's frequented. It's the first inn in the city, and so people coming into our city from other places. If they come from Soriko itself, they come to here first. Um, and so as such, it's local friendly and it's traveler friendly. A mix of both worlds. Um, it's it's a decent establishment. Their food is nothing to write home about, but it's a comfortable stay. Although at certain times, sandstorms do have a tendency to drift into southern ends of town, and sand gets everywhere, and sometimes gets through cracks in the windows or the doors. You may wake up with some sand in your room once in a while. It's a normal occurrence. Um, it's it's okay. Uh, Maki no Cushion is more. It's very traditional feeling. It's very traditional elven feel. Um, there are no uh, there's no open walking with armor or weapons. No footwear allow besides socks. Um, the it's very traditional. Just a bedroll on the floor, but the floor is padded itself. Um, it's charming. I'm just gonna say outright. I have a personal affinity for that place. I've always found it charming as someone growing up, and I've lived in the city my entire life, and I've always liked it. So I'm gonna be a bit biased in that one. You also won't have sand everywhere. It's quite nice. You're near the center of town, and so the market district is nearby. Um, you're not too far from the port, um, but just far enough away you're not getting influx of people from the port. So it's decent in my opinion. Both are on the same price. Let's put it that way too. Both are similar price wise. I don't know their exact pricing, but if you went there to them, you'd find out there. So which of the two? So I can write down a note and have words sent to you guys.
I would say Edge of Sand, personally.
I agree.
Okay. Okay. Edge of the Sands. I will write down here. If you guys don't come here in the morning, I will just have someone send. I'll have someone come collect you. How about that? That works for you all. Um, in the meantime, please peruse town, do what you need to do. You can take that stipend. Um, they'll give you basic supplies to help out with your investigation. Um, did I hear you all say that you were also looking into our water situation?
Yes.
Yeah.
She says, Give me that notice back. Whoever had taken it. And she pulls out the quill and starts writing again, and she adds some addendums to it. And she says, look, it's interesting that you guys are coming into town, not really knowing anything about the city, just kind of passing through, willing to help with one really big thing for the citizens, and another big thing for the government. But I appreciate it nonetheless, and I hope that you are people that we can trust. If you're doing this seeking fame and glory, it's one thing. If you're looking at for just to be helpful, that's also great. Whatever your intentions, as long as you don't screw us over, I think that's acceptable. And she hands the note back to you, to whoever wants to take it. And whoever looks at it will just see that she added an addendum for a tent, uh, a four-person tent, um, as well as a water skin for each one of you, and with a priority stamp added to it, so that you can make sure you actually get access to whatever limited supply of water they do have. However, the missing is, as you all know, the desert is warm during the day and cold at night, and she did not give anything on there for cold weather here. But if you stay inside your tent, you'll probably be warm overnight. If you go out and venture while it's dark, you'll have problems. So, with that said, she says, I again thank you for you guys looking into this. I'm going to get to work putting this list together for all of you. So if you excuse me, and she goes back to her desk and starts looking through what she can and just gets to work. So what do you guys want to do now? Anyone?
Should we go and talk to the inn people and then maybe try and figure out the water situation so that we for sure have passage on the boat?
I would say so. I think that's our best option moving forward because we do have to. We should probably try and get out of here as well because, well, we're not far from where we were before, and there are people looking for us. So there's that, and we should probably figure out how we're going to be able to make it as far as we can with how hot the desert is. Because I don't know about you guys, but it gets very hot with all this fur. So just food for thought. Speaking of food, I'm hungry.
To the inn!
All right. So as you guys leave, I'm sure you guys are walking out as you're talking about all this. One thing becomes apparent is that no one asked her where the inn was, and she didn't tell you where the inn was.
Could I?
Oh, she said it was near the south of town, though.
Yeah, it's
And it was
near the southern end.
where the river enters.
Could I ask her where it is at that point then?
Yeah, I mean, you could walk back in and ask her. That's not going to be a big deal. And she'll give you some somewhat precise directions because at the southern end of town, it's right near there, so it's not quite next to the gates, but close enough that it should have been not too difficult to find. But with more precise directions, you guys can get directly there, no problem. And she even tells you how to navigate the streets you're in right there to get there, so you're not just asking around how to get to the main gate. Because the city is quite large.
I thank her and I tell her thank you for the help with the map as placing your faith in us in Elvish.
Okay. And she seems quite impressed.
As Orion went in there, I kind of just look at Kaya and go, I'm glad we have him around. I was just going to walk in and try and find the place.
Me too. I wouldn't have been able to see over that counter at the boat place without Orion.
All right.
Get him up again? Shoulder vibes.
Oh.
At this
Good.
At this point, sure. As long as you keep on telling me about that language thing, I kind of want to break it down a little bit more. I think I'm getting the vowels right. I'm just not sure if I'm supposed to roll my R's, or if it's just where I have to say it with emphasis.
Oh yeah. Fae is a complicated language to learn. We will get you there though. Fully speaking it. perfectly. Perfect diction.
All right. You guys are able to start weaving your way through town, following the directions that Ryan had been given. The city itself is mostly, you guys noticed this at first when you were walking in, but you're seeing it more now. Um, is mostly stonework, um, but in some cases there are some wooden buildings, and the wood is really interesting looking because it's. I don't know if you ever, if anyone's ever seen like hardcore sandblasted wood. Um, it's cool. It's got a really soft, smooth touch on one side. The sides facing towards the desert is like sandblasted in some cases, but the side coming from where the water is getting hit with salty mist every once in a while, depending on certain storms or weather patterns. Um, and so the desert sides are nice and smooth and light, whereas the other sides are warped and some kinds of mixes of colors like greens. Um, and it's a really interesting dynamic of the city. There's no regularity to how the city is brought out. You guys have traveled quite far over Albany and Terra Onta, and in certain cities you notice that there's a pattern, there's an organization, a schematic to how cities are laid out. This has none. It's just, oh, this is on the edge of the desert, and we need to put a city here, but it's hard because deserts are hard. So let's just do what we can. Buildings are put where they work, and um, it's kind of confusing, and that's why without directions, it actually would have been pretty difficult to get there. Might have required actually some rolls until you got there, but luckily you didn't. um, After about an hour of walking, you guys are able to get to the inn that was mentioned. From the outside, this inn is 2 stories, all stone, all the way around, all um, like limestone almost, uh, all the way around. The roof is stucco. It is arranged in kind of a U shape. The front door is in the edge of the U, in the center part, and 2 wings come off of it on either side, and that's what you can tell have the different rooms. But what's most interesting is all of the um, windows are like stained glass, um, not like religious of any kind, just not even any pictures, just arrangements of different colors, and they are typical, not square, but the bottom is squared off and then it rounds to a point at the top. All those all the way around, and there's a very large porch at the front of the door, and then on either side, right next to the inside of the U, are gardens, and they look like at one point they were beautiful, very large, but without proper water, they're wilting. Um, some spots are completely dead. Um, Other parts are on their last legs. It's actually not a good sight. It's not making the place look good. It's making the place look somewhat some sort of weird prison. It's kind of depressing. Um, but as you get closer to the door, you do hear people on the inside, and it's not the raucous laughter and crazy talking all that you usually hear. It's um, just standard, like muted talking. Um, who is going to enter first?
Well,
Perfect.
Technically,
All right. So Kaya, you walk in, and what you see is in front of you there is um, a large counter with a person standing behind there with a couple different parchments, bits of paper, um, and behind them is a bunch of keys on the wall, and on there are 2 sets of doors, one on the left and one on the right. The one on the right has a sign above it that says tavern, and the one that on the left says rooms. Um, the person standing behind the desk is a human lady. Looks to be in her late 30s, early 40s, somewhere around there. She's short, somewhat stocky, but has laugh lines. And from living in dry deserts all of her life, it's starting to crack around there. But she has somewhat of a decent decent sort of laugh lines. She's dressed very conservatively. Um, she actually does have a covering around her head, and she has nice purple robes on. Um, Although they're silken robes, not like a big wool one. And as soon as you guys all walk in, she says, "Hi, hello. How can I help you?" He looks right down at you.
Hey, we're helping out the guards, and we are looking for a place to stay while in town.
You're helping the guards.
Yeah, we're helping the guards with the monuments vandalism stuff.
Oh, oh, I'm both surprised and not surprised that they've gotten outside help. Um, Between that and our water crisis, we're a bit spread thin. So I understand. Right. Well, how long will you be staying?
Well, what it was 8 days until the boat comes.
Correct.
Well, we'll be here for 8 days, but we are going to go out to the desert for an unknown amount of time because we're going to look into the water problem as well. But the captain, the lawmaster, is going to be sending word here for us about any information she gets about the monument.
Okay. So, what kind of room setup are you three looking for? Individually? Some together? All together? What's the situation?
I just want somewhere comfortable that I can just plop down and fall asleep.
Did any of those seem to make her uncomfortable when she said them?
What?
Did any of like when she was like all together, some together? Did any of those seem to make her uncomfortable?
No. It's almost like she's trying not to make you uncomfortable, but she just still needs to know. Like, she doesn't want to put you guys on blast, but like she just needs to know how many keys and what kind of tab to write up for how much it's going to cost.
That depends. How much is a room?
Well, I can get you all one room together. It would have only 2 beds, but I can bring in a bedroll, or the 2 small ones here can share some space on one, and that would be 8 silver per night. But if you're helping us, are you really looking into both the vandalism and the water? I could give you guys the room for 6 silver pieces.
Is anybody bringing a friend, back to the room? Like, we're not gonna have like a tunic on the door situation, are we?
No.
I don't see anything, but I mean,
And
hey,
that
I
is
mean, I'll
never
go back
know.
to them if I find anybody.
that is for a private room. We do have individual beds that you can have in the open air hostel. A bit of floor space, and I'll give you a bedroll, would be 3 copper, or we can give you a bed for yourself in the hostel for 1 silver piece per person per night. but the room would be all three of you could enjoy it together for 60 silver pieces.
I'm perfectly fine with the one room.
Okay. Right. How many nights do you think you will need? If you're leaving town, you don't want to have too many extra days.
I'd probably say 4 at most. Because you gotta think, we gotta venture all the way to,
Wherever the problem is.
Dude, I think I need some fruit. We gotta venture all the way out into the desert. It's gonna take time to get there, gonna take time to get back, and figure out what's going on out there.
Say four nights.
4 nights? Okay. So if we do 6 silver pieces, that's 24 silver pieces, and so that would be 2 gold and 4 silver. How would you like to pay? Or who would like to pay?
Okay, I have 2 gold, 1 silver, and 8 copper.
I have 2 gold, 14 silver, and 9 copper.
I have 5 silver.
I can give 1 gold and 2 silver.
Split it between Kaya and Zavi?
50?
Yeah.
I'll give all of my silver at this point.
Okay.
Because I don't feel bad.
Yeah, no, keep your money. You only have that little amount of money. Keep your silver pieces, Ryan.
Hi, Kaya. Do you have any instruments visible?
No,
Okay. Just checking.
I'd have to summon.
Just checking.
Oh, but wait. I guess. Do you perchance need any entertainment on the nights we might be here?
We haven't on schedule. No one's really been wanting to come and play to a city that seems to be having a mass exodus. But she kind of like there is a small little. You guys have seen bars how they have like one part that flips up and over so somebody can get out. The counter does that. And she walks out and she goes over to the tavern section and like opens the door and pokes her head in and she goes, "I think they might need some entertainment. Why?"
I will cast summon instrument and summon my flute and give a little tootly toot.
Oh, well, we would not be opposed. There is room to perform, and if you can do so, there might be some money in there for you.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yes. We'll say we'll worry about the particulars when it comes. About what kind of income you can make from us. But with that said, you guys have paid her the money. Okay.
Yeah.
She pulls out a parchment and looks through the list of rooms and then takes some notes next to one and says, "What are your 3 names?"
Go ahead.
I'm Zavi.
Kaya.
And Orion.
And surnames.
Orion
Really?
Thane.
Okay. She writes it down. Looks at the 2 of you.
Advani.
Mommy, she writes it down. Okay, and Kaya,
Vespagen.
and then she writes that down. Well, she asks you how to spell it, and then she writes it down. She says, perfect.
Yeah, you always need to learn how to spell it the first time. It takes a few times.
I can imagine it does. And, she says with a huge
I
smile.
for sure told her how to spell it incorrectly.
Perfect. So she writes all that down. And when she pulls the piece of parchment up, you can see that underneath of it is almost like transfer paper. And she rips off a small section of it, and she says, "This is for the three of you. It's just proof that you're staying here, has your names and your room numbers." And then she goes behind her and looks through the keys, and they all have little tags on them. And she finds the one that's numbered correctly, and she says, "This is going to be the key to your room. Would you like me to escort you there, or do you think you can find it on your own?"
I can always try and find it. You just give me an idea, like down this hallway, up those stairs, kind of thing.
Left, right.
Most assuredly.
If you hit this room, you've gone too far.
She says, once you walk through this door, she points to the left side, well, the left of you, right to her. She points and she says, once you walk in this room, you will enter a hallway. If you keep going, there will be a set of stairs going up. You are on the second floor. The hallway will divide into two. And you will go on the right and go all the way down to the second to last floor. And that will be your room. This is room number 5. And she says, and if you need anything else, come find me. My name is Alicia. I am front desk manager and owner of this establishment. I will have you know that we are not privy to much of the sources of water the city is limited on, and so dishes or drinks that require heavy use of water, you won't find. Anything we can make without having to boil a bunch of water, you will find. However, we all should also know that alcohol does not need water anymore once it's bottled. So there's plenty of alcohol to be had. Don't go crazy. Then she leaves you to your devices. You guys go into your room first, or are you gonna go to where do you want to do?
First thing, I'm gonna ask her if she has any food or anything, just to snack on. I'm hungry.
On me right now.
Is there some in the tavern I can go into and grab a few little things?
Yeah.
Or do you have them in the room?
The room might actually have fresh fruit in it. I think I did spruce that one up today. The tavern is open until a few hours. The kitchen is open until a few hours after dusk, and then opens at first light again. Order food at your leisure. Just walk down and place an order, and they'll get you some food. Anything else?
I start walking away and then I stop for a second. The food in the room doesn't cost extra, does it?
No. Comes with the room.
Okay, good. I've been fooled by that once.
Is that real life, Brent, or is that a character? Is that zombie saying that?
No. That's not real life. I've seen enough videos to know.
I've had that happen before. Right.
Zombie almost ended up in jail at night. For that day.
Okay. So you guys are going to your room. You want to stop off there? Okay.
Can I ask the innkeeper Alicia if she's heard any word on the whole water status? Has there been any word on why it's been delayed? Why has it been not flowing? Is there any monster? Is there any word on what's going on?
Well, I don't know much. But I will say, I do know that they sent a team a week or two ago to go look, to track it down. Whenever it was just a trickle at that moment, at that time. It only stopped flowing 3 or 4 days ago. But up until then, it had been getting less and less. And they had sent a team filled with some of the city guard, as well as a few scholars. And they did not come back. At least they have yet to. I don't know the status. And they're, well, I don't know if I should say that. But they've been looking into this. No idea what's happening. But that team does not come back.
Wait, what shouldn't you should say? You should definitely tell us so we know what we're getting into when we go.
I don't know, maybe I want to be surprised.
Do not want to be surprised by this.
Make a diplomacy roll.
Who's making the diplomacy roll?
Kaya.
That's a natural 20 plus 7, 27.
Okay, so for your gather information, she says, okay, look, they sent that team, and from what I can gather, we're right next to the gates, so I can see and hear everything. I don't want to spread gossip. But it seems like they had actually sent 3. One that was known, one team that was known, the other 2 somewhat secret, with larger guard forces. None of the 3 groups have come back. Save for one person. One person had returned from the second group. And they had only returned 2 days ago. And they were not okay.
They were not what?
Not okay. As far as I know, they are being kept at the Grand Manor for watch. If you did not hear any of that from me, they don't want people knowing they're sending additional guards because they need the guards here to help people. And they also don't want to look weak to or thinned to whatever group is taking care of or taking on or destroying things around town. Vandalism and petty theft has gone up quite a lot with the absence of guards. So they don't want people knowing they're sending. That's what I've gathered from just listening and watching.
When you say he's not okay, like crazy? Or just like banged up? Or
I don't know specifics. All I heard is that one of the vagrants that hangs out near the gates, hoping to beg for coin from anyone coming into town. They told me for some alcohol in a trade that the person seemed manic and like they wanted to go back, but were fighting the urge. like there was something there they had to get back to. But something in their mind told them to come back here, and it was an internal struggle. That's what the vagrant said. It's like the beggar. I don't know what that means, but that's just what I was told.
Interesting. Very interesting. Thank you, Alicia.
Sure. Again, please, I didn't tell you any of that. I don't want to be known as a gossiper or anything. And enjoy your stay, please. And she goes back to her work. At this point, are you guys heading up to your room? Are you going to the tavern? Or do you want to leave entirely? What would you like to do?
I say go to the room, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's just go up there.
perfect. So walking through the directions that she gave you, the inside of the place is just as it looks very rustic in here as well. But when you look as you pass by some of the windows, you can see little tiny cracks here and there throughout these things. And the glasswork is old; it's very old. And even once in a while, you can see some small cracks in the brickwork itself, where sand has just completely eroded it away from constantly being thrown at it. Work like this next to the sands is going to need a lot of upkeep, a lot of constant upkeep. And it's just not being done here. And true to word from what Hana had told you, you guys can see sand along the corners of the floors and on like the windowsills and stuff. You can see sand collected there. Every once in a while, I see some small pockets of it here and there throughout the halls. Getting upstairs, walking in the hallway towards your room, same scenario, exact same thing as downstairs. But the door itself is ornately carved. It looks like all the doors in the private rooms have some sort of carving on them. And it seems to be that it's some sort of like a story going as they go along. And it's different scenes of the Great War, but in like a positive light, just people working together, coming together, things of that sort. And, on your door, number 5, it seems to be a mess, like a drawing of the founding of Syota, like a large port being built inside of this carving, and tons of ships off in the distance. But you also see tons of phalanxes of soldiers standing at the ready as well, so that's signifying it still is the Great War. Opening up the door with a key leads you into a very handsome room. There are 2 large beds. They were built to be 4-poster beds, but they are not 4-poster beds. They do not have coverings to make them 4-poster. They just have the posts, but no drapes. In between is a large table between the two beds. There is a small little reading area with shelving, another small desk, and a little, like, I wouldn't call it a kitchenette, but like a small little dining area where you can sit and have a meal with a larger table that sits about 6 people if you need it. The beds are large enough for an Orion to fit, and also if Zavi and Kaya, if you guys like did opposite ends, you'd actually have a good bit of space between you. These are big, bigger than you would expect. However, they also said they could bring a bedroll in, so you don't have to worry about sharing the bed. But it's quite nice. There is 2 large windows inside the room, and the best bit about this room, you don't see much sand at all. Maybe just teeniest, tiniest little traces of it here and there. But mostly, no. These windows seem intact. The walls seem mostly intact. So it's going to be a comfortable stay. And there are a few sconces hanging on the walls, as well as one central chandelier that hangs in between the two beds. So it's a nice place. Alright, so what do you guys want to do?
Well, I wish I hadn't have asked, because now I'm concerned. The guy came back acting crazy, wanting to get back out into the desert.
Well, we're looking to go into the desert voluntarily, granted, for a reason. Who knows what, if it was the heat or if there's something out there that's tricking them. We have to go that way no matter what.
Yeah. We gotta make sure we can get passage.
Alright. You guys seem pretty nervous about the desert. It's a fun place.
Yeah.
Alright. What's your next course of action? It's probably about, at this point in time, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You guys got the evening ahead of you to do what you wish. Again, the officer is not going to bring you guys anything at least till breakfast time in the morning, if not maybe a little bit later than that.
It's
But-
like picking up the supplies from the quartermaster, like in any time we can do it thing.
Yeah, anytime you want to, you can do that. You could have done it as you passed right by it, but no one said anything.
But we can actually stop by the quartermaster now. That way we can at least explore the city as we're trying to pick up supplies. And we can also think about what we want to do once we get out in the desert and discuss ideas and tactics.
Not a bad idea. Alright, is that what you guys want to do now, is go there, or?
Orion, Zabi, are you still hungry or did you eat your fill?
Yeah, oh, I forgot to
Uh,
mention, there is a bowl of fruit sitting on the counter between the two beds. Or the
I definitely was eating some of the fruits, hydrating,
Okay, not bad. A little bit on the dry side, but not bad. It's a fill of different of grapes. You find grapes, pears, apples, and it's like a watermelon, but not quite. It's like a mix between a watermelon and a cantaloupe in terms of texture and flavor.
Probably would have enjoyed that and the pears the most.
It's only a bowl about this size though, like width-wise, but about like that deep. So it's got some substance to it, but not a ton.
Probably would have eaten most of it, and then on our way out, I'm gonna ask for a refill.
It's like unlimited breadsticks. Can we get more breadsticks over here? More fruit. So on your way out, Alicia will go, yeah, I can give you more. Thank you for eating it.
Did
Okay.
anyone think it was weird that front desk manager and then owner and not the other way around? Like, why even bother being front desk manager? You could just say, I'm the owner.
Unless it's something new, because people are leaving. Maybe the owner kind of was like, I'm out. This is on you now. And so she's still not used to calling herself an owner.
Remember, there's a mass exodus of people. That means not only are the travelers leaving this city, but also the locals. So she's probably experiencing a worker shortage. And it's probably getting worse for the city considering the city needs supplies, aka water, which brings in merchants, which they don't have really much going on.
And
So
people
that's
with money can make it out of here first before anybody else.
that's why they're trying to keep things tight-lipped. Not only will it ruin the economy, it will ruin the whole city, and that leads to chaos.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys that on your way over, this would have been noticeable to you. So you guys have all been in big cities before, and you know that throughout big cities, people have roving carts, like private merchants selling stuff. I don't really see that here. The streets have people, obviously, but we just see people going to and from places. There's not really any street vendors. There's not really street performers of any kind. Like it's just the place people are going from work to home and back. That seems to be about it. Um,
Yeah.
Nevertheless, you guys are heading towards back towards the office, and then going to that quartermaster's spot. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so,
Could
go ahead.
could I keep an open eye on anything that interests me, like such as like, is there anything out of the ordinary that I noticed on the way there?
Give me a perception roll. See if you notice anything.
Alright, perception. Alright, and let me roll. That is going to be a 20.
20. Okay. So on your walk over, you guys probably end up taking the same path as you guys had before. This is kind of just reversing the directions you had. And so, going that direction, there would have been something noticeable that you pick up on. Something out of place. A distinct lack of children. Not like completely absent, but it just seems like there really aren't any on the streets. Like you might see one kid running around, but that's just the one. Then he disappears, or he or she disappears off the distance. And then this city, while not exclusively elven, is in an elven settled city, and so you would mostly expect to see more than usual, but you're not seeing that as much. It almost seems like the people that are here are not really from here, and so it's kind of this idea that you're seeing more tourists than locals. And so the idea that you had mentioned that locals are leaving, you're getting to see that firsthand. You're now actually noticing the distinct lack of locals as well, and hence why there's probably a lack of children running around.
Seems like okay. Well, if it seems like a lot of locals have left, again, that also gives a theory that she's a new inn owner. She's a new owner of that establishment.
Is everything alright, Zavi?
Why in somewhere like this, with all the statues, all the monuments, all the history here, would people up in, other than, of course, the lack of water, why would people just let that go? Not help invest into finding out why to bring it back? Seems like a lot of the people have given up on this place.
Maybe it has a seedy underbelly we haven't seen yet. They're just tired of it, and this is like the last straw.
I just...
Weird. Yeah, it's a good thought.
And then also, if there's not many people who are local, then what does defacing all these monuments, what does that bring for somebody? Is it somebody local who just is upset, or is it a group of people who are not from here and just find it fun?
Personally,
I'm putting it on the local side.
Personally, I think in a way it kind of gives itself away. If there's not too many locals here, that means there's a possibility that it's someone that is posing as a tourist. How could you start accusing people if they're tourists if they're always constantly coming in and out of the city? So, in case if I was someone to deface a statue, I would technically pose as a tourist since there's an abundant sum, and you can easily just go in with the crowd. If you're a local, then you're easier to figure out.
Or it could be the most local kind of people. The people who lived here first. Trying to get everyone else to leave.
People who cared so much about it, and seeing where it is now, they're trying to just, like you said, scare people off, or trying to make some sort of a stand for the city, like showing that more needs to be done, and the ineptitude of the guard. Have we been told what it looks like when they deface them? Like,
No, but I do have something
more
to add
exact.
to Orion's role once you guys are done talking about that. They didn't specify what kind of defacing it was. Well, they did specify, but it wasn't any one thing. There are some that are just simply getting like painted on, or scratched up, or having pieces taken off, and some have just been flat out destroyed. They have reports of. And to add to the 20 on the perception roll, I will say that walking through here the first time, and then coming back through a second time, you guys pick up on, throughout your travel, 15 different monuments. Some are statues, some are frescoes, but walking through, you have found 2 that are defaced in some way. One is a fresco that looks like it is a battle happening. There are 2 sides coming at each other with weapons. And one side of it has damage, the other side does not. The scene depicted is from the Great War, and the side that is not defaced is a mixture of humans, halflings, some Vanara, some catfolk. This looks like it's the side of people from Alderney and Terra. The other side looks like it's a mixture of elves and lizard folk, the people of Makida, and then now by extension Soriko. And the elven and lizard folk side is the side that has destruction on it. The other one you guys come across is a statue that has been, it looks like, decapitated. There is no way to distinguish its personable features. It could be an elf or a human, not really a way to know without the head, can't analyze the ears. And
Does it have a name?
it doesn't have a plaque. The plaque's been removed as well. There was a place for a plaque, but it was gone. And if anyone wants to, you can make. I'm going to let any one of you want to do this. You can. You can make a society roll.
Why not?
I'll do it.
Definitely not me.
Who's got high society?
Mine's a +4.
Oh, you
2.
go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead. Mine's only 2.
Me?
Yeah.
$17.
17. You get the idea that the armor on this person is definitely not human. You can't tell if it's from, the Elven army, the Elven Lizard Folk army, or from the mountains, because the dwarves and Shisk did join the fight, and then you can't tell if it's from Forlorn. It looks like it might have elements of all three, and it's kind of throwing you off, but it's definitively not human or halfling or any of the bestial races from all Terran or ancestors.
Could be orcish sympathizers. Or just the orcs. If they're only doing the elvish stuff, they want their land back. And they weren't happy about the elves staying in their settlements they fortified.
Given that role, Zavi, you also know that there is a political group who, for decades now, have been speaking up for orcish rights. If you want to tie that into what Kai is saying, just saying that they deserve, some kind of recognition and apology for basically being, in some circles they say invaded, and in some circles they say just, pushed. Because, in the past, when elves landed on the continent of Soriko, they didn't find anyone here. And that's because they didn't go far enough into the desert. So they said, "Oh, this place is empty. We can claim it," and so they did. And they named it Soriko. But it wasn't until much later that they realized that orcs actually lived here, and they had made themselves known in the desert, and they were like, "Yo, this is our place. What are you doing here?" And then some fighting happened, and an agreement was struck that the elves would not expand any further than the few settlements they had made, and orcish culture would be left alone, but they would all live in peace and harmony. But again, there is a political group that is thought of like, hey, we deserve some sort of, I guess you call it reparations. They think they deserve that. They believe it, and they do have a lot of support. But the government and crown rule has not actually, in at least 4 decades, made any kind of advancement into making it happen. So that's what Kai is.
These people definitely have something against each other, even if they don't say so. There's something here. You can cut the tension with a knife.
Orion's staying silent as they talk about this, thinking about, as he's looking at this, more at least at the people than rather the statues. Thinking,
So, I just got an idea, and I hope it's not right. I hope we don't have to deal with this way. But what if both these events that are going on here are tied together in some way?
Yeah, they could be. Definitely is making people leave the city.
Because Orion, your dad said that the person that we need to talk to lives in the desert out here, correct?
Yes, at the oasis though.
Yes, and that's where the water comes from for the city. You are you're
Or
kind of an orc.
Half orc.
Most
Kind of an orc.
Yes. Half orc, Zavi.
I know.
Savi, you can't just ask people if they're half orc.
So if people that your father knew and maybe of some sort of relation and everything to you are from out there, and the elves were not supposed to expand further than here, maybe that there was some sort of thing that happened, and maybe that's why the water got cut off.
Could be, or there could be another reason. But I understand why you think that. But we also have to take in mind that these are only speculations. After all, people speculate that we did something that we didn't do, but yet they didn't have proof. So at this point, I would say let's keep an open mind. But your opinion is deserved.
Zavi, I'll give you one more thing with that society roll you had made. First, I'm going to tell you that because the roll wasn't quite what I needed, you remember that there was talk of a political group, but you don't know the name of it. The second thing is, from different parts of history, you can know that Soriko is not a stranger to its cities dying. There is one other city along the bottom stretch, the 4 elven settlements, that is mostly dead. And that is Tasio, the city on the very end, next to the south of the big, large chasm. And that city used to be a mining town. And some sort of mining accident had happened, and the mine shut down, and the city has fallen to basically nothing. I mean, we've all seen what happens to mining towns that no longer have a mine. They just turn to ghost towns. And so that city has been that way for a couple of decades now. So that's some knowledge that you might have heard over the years. So it's both not normal and not abnormal to have that happen before you go. But go ahead.
So where are we moving on to now? I mean, I don't think that we are prepared to go into the desert.
We're picking up the supplies from the quartermaster, so we have them.
Yes, you guys did want to get that stuff. So that was all what you guys were, noticing. As well, what Orion noticed as you guys walked towards the quartermaster's office. So you guys were able to get back to where you were before, and go to the 2 doors down to the quartermaster's office. Walking inside, it looks just like what you would imagine. There is it's kind of like if you walk into an army surplus store. There is just stuff everywhere, but it's all organized. It's all very pretty, but it's not a lot. a lot of stuff's missing. There is a person standing at the counter. Getting the word for counter. There is a person standing at the counter. They are not very much taller than Kaya. They seem to be standing up on a stool with a little set of stairs next to it. Like a teeny tiny little there's little sets of dog stairs you get sleeping up on your bed as you get older. A little set like that. And she is a young-looking lady with almost like pixie cut, sandy hair, probably in her mid-20s, wearing guard armor, but looser fitting, more like leathery armor instead of full on metal. But the most striking thing is, you guys can two of you notice this. Well, I think maybe only Orion noticed this. How tall is Zavi, by the way, again?
Zavi is. So I have that. I can't remember. 5'1".
5'1". Yeah, you wouldn't notice this. Orion, you're over 6 foot, right?
Yep.
Okay. So the counter itself, you guys can obviously tell, is only like 2.5, 3 feet tall. It's pretty short comparatively. But Orion can see this. The girl standing there on the stool is not wearing shoes of any kind, bare feet, and her feet are much bigger than they look like they should be. She is definitively a halfling. And
Wait, if the counter's so short, why does she have to stand on something?
what?
If the counter is short, why does she have to stand on something?
Because she's doing something above the counter.
Oh, okay.
But she doesn't want to stand on the counter. She's trying to reach something that's like above it, like on like one of the hanging areas. Because there are things that are on shelves and stuff around where she's at. But for Orion and Zavi, it's just, oh, shelf right here, grab. Obviously for Kaya and now this person. You guys stand on something to reach.
Could I help this person? Can I see what she's trying to reach?
Yes. It looks like she has something in her one hand. She has like a list, and she seems to be counting. It's a bunch of. It looks like it's a bunch of different tarps that she's counting, and it's almost like she's doing inventory. But she has been, as you guys are walking in, she is trying to reach one. And is just kind of getting like fingertip area of reaching. So, I mean, you could, if you wanted to, help her. You need to go behind the counter to do so.
Before I do that, I ask Miss, do you need some help?
And she looks at you and... I can do it myself.
Understood.
Oh.
I know, right?
You're with him. And she just starts reaching you further. She stands on like the tippiest toes, and she finally grabs it, pulls it, and slams it down. She goes, see?
As she was doing that, I just go, "Don't fall." Just kind of look away.
She pretends not to hear, but you can tell she heard it. And she puts the thing down, and she goes, climbs off the stool and stands at the counter, and she goes, I'm sorry. I am irritable. I am tired. I am hot. And this is not where I wanted to be. But here I am. So, what can I do? You don't look to be guards, so why are you here?
We are helping out with a few things in the city, and we need a few things.
You're helping in the city? Like what? Are you guys putting on a stage play, or?
I start looking through my jacket for the list, and then I pull it out of my pocket.
She takes
and I
it,
hand it to her.
and she goes over it, and she goes, after reading it, she says, "You're helping with our problems. Bully. Well, maybe I shouldn't be so mean. It's helpful. As you can see, we're spread thin. I'm not actually a guard. I'm just here. But this is helpful. Let me go grab your items for you." And she walks over and she grabs a looks like a wheelbarrow, but it's like a little makeshift thing that she made for herself. And she keeps the list and walks through the aisles and starts grabbing some stuff here and there. And as she's doing it, she's yelling at you guys from down these aisles. Like, so where are you all from?
Ammo City.
A little place called Tree Shade.
I was born on the road, so I don't really have a place to call home.
Okay. Why are you helping us?
We're just good people.
Are
About
you?
the town and happy
Yeah.
to help out, especially if we can find a way to help.
To be fair, someone said that we couldn't help the town, so we told them that we would.
True. He did kind of like insinuate we couldn't help.
Who?
That's the fairy guy.
The harbor master.
Harbor master.
Fairy guy?
The boat guy. I said the boat guy.
Those ferry
Oh.
people from place to place.
Oh.
Getting tickets.
The harbor master.
Atticus. Right?
Okay.
Atticus.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know him.
Atticus.
I know Atticus. Reports to us quite frequently. Well, my last post. Right. So, you're adventuring types. You're just looking to make money, huh?
Or get favors.
To, to get on a boat. Seems the price has gone up as of late.
What about? Didn't you come off a boat getting here?
Well, yeah, but they were leaving somewhere else. They weren't going where we needed to go.
Where do you need to go?
To Hookhandle. Do you have any more questions about it?
Well, yeah, I'm nosy. What, not used to somebody being that honest? So why Hookhandle?
Well, I'm from
We
all
got
the
some people to talk to there about some different jobs that are available, possibly.
Okay.
Kind of lost my last job, so just trying to find something new. And as a performer, I'm not really needed in this place right now. So anything I can do to help to get myself on my way.
You're a performer. What do you perform?
High rope, acrobatic events, anything where I'm swinging through the air. I mean, do you need something up high? I can probably reach it real quick.
Poppy, I thought she was flirting with you, but I think you kind of ruined it.
Yeah, she gets really indignant looking as she comes closer. So you're saying I can't reach things?
Not you. I can't even reach things that are as high as I go.
Nice
I'm
save.
talking like 30, 80 feet in the air.
All right. She's on her way back.
I'm sure you can
with
reach
your
anything
stuff
that you want to
at
get
this
to.
point. She comes back and she goes, "Here, this is what the list told me to give you. 1 tent, that will fit all of you, and one more for 2 of us. She looks at Kaya. She gives you guys a set of cookware, so you guys can make some food on your own if you need to. She gives you some candles, enough. She gives you 5 days worth of simple rations. A water skin that is filled each with fresh water. And then finally, she gives each of you 1 minor healing potion.
Thank you, Miss.
You're welcome. It's quite
What is
literally
your
the
name?
least I can do. My name is Jillian.
Thank you, Jillian. I was wondering if you can answer a question of mine.
Maybe.
What manner of creatures are that you usually see in the desert by chance?
In the desert. Well, you find a few different types of large lumbering beast. You find something that looks sort of like a buffalo. I don't know its name. You find there is rumor of these birds that are about my size that can't breathe fire. Snakes, all kinds of lizards. There are some other birds that are just wicked fast runners. I mean, all kinds of things. Why do you ask? Oh, because you're going. No, it's not really creatures that you have to worry about. Most. I'd say that most you have to worry about are roving groups of raiders and bandits that like to steal on the road.
Not Desert Madness.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's a thing. You go out in the heat too long, without shelter, fries your brain, makes you weird. Some people think that they're in the winter wonderland, and go out and they're in just the basic clothes. Or some folks decide that sand can be eaten and just eat it. It does all kinds of manner of funny things to people that are out there too long.
Has there ever been any cases where a person wants to just go back to the desert?
I mean, I'm sure it's happened. There are some people that prefer to live out there. We have people that live here around the edge of it. I imagine there are folks that like living in the desert. Never that I've heard.
Have you ever heard?
Oh,
Have
go
you
ahead.
ever heard of an inn called Manor Heights?
Manor Heights?
Yes. Or High Manor?
Here in town?
Yes.
I think so. The Manor House Inn?
Correct. That's the one.
Yeah, the ritzy place. Yeah, what about it?
Can you tell us anything about it?
I mean, what do you want to know? It's for the rich people go to stay. It's fancy. It's expensive. I mean, it's opulent. It's pretty. It's empty now. But yeah, that's where they go to stay. The people that work there think there's some hot shit because they work there. They look down on people that work at other inns or bars or what have you. But when they leave there, they go to the same other inns to drink and party. So, I mean, it seems dumb to me, personally.
When you say they, do you mean the staff itself or the higher end people that live in the city?
Oh, everybody that goes there, everybody that goes there thinks that while they're there, that they don't also poop like everybody else. But at the end of the day, when they come out of there, same folks as anyone else. They go to the same shithole watering holes in town, the same shops to buy their food and what have you. They just have a little bit extra money at the end of the day. That's all. People are people.
True enough. Thank you.
Yep. Now, is there anything else I can do for you, fine, upstanding citizens that are going to hero us out of our problems?
I don't think so. It's been a pleasure, Jillian.
You betcha. All right, and
It's been a
she
high honor meeting you. As I go to walk out.
We see her again. I'm calling her by her wrong name.
So, you said it's a high honor as you walked out.
Yes.
Okay. And
then as I walk out, my tail reaches up and hits the top of the door.
She says,
You
"Yeah,
are gonna use that tail for everything.
she seems name call all you like, but would you like to see how someone can climb you?" And
As the door closes, you see me just look like, huh?
I knew she was coming on to you. She gave you
As-
enough to know.
As the door is closing behind me, you just see Zavi go, "What?"
All right. So you guys have your supplies. It's a little bit of an annoyance to carry everything, but you guys can pull it off. So you have the rest of the evening to you. It's now about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. What would you like to do for the evening? Anything specific you want to look for? Or do you want to go back to your tavern, to your inn, and just kind of hang out?
I'm kind of interested in looking at more into the monuments being monuments, statues, all that stuff being damaged or destroyed. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that we can learn from them, any sort of pattern, any sort of common factor between them.
Yeah, I think that you guys would be able to do that.
If we talk to the was it the
The constable, or are you talking about?
the constable? Yeah.
So Hana Ogawa.
Yes. If
Well, that-
she had any details on what they had discovered was destroyed or damaged, and like details on what happened to each one.
So
She's
just
not
kind
gonna
of
have that at least until tomorrow, right?
Yes, because
Oh,
she
yeah, she thought
said
it was tomorrow. Yeah, that's right.
because she had to use tonight to find out the info.
yeah.
So I
Right
would
now,
say-
she's taken the evening to contact every other set of guards to all converge and put their information together.
So I would say, in case you want to, a possible thing would be to pick one of the statues that haven't been defaced and If you want to watch it for a little bit, then we could do that. Or we can just rest up for tomorrow's trip at that point. I'm fine with either one.
I mean, based on what you're asking
I was gonna-
for, if you want another, option based, just based on what you're saying is, if you want to take the evening and just kind of walk about and see if you pick up on any more that have been destroyed or any that haven't been, and kind of make your own inventory, you can do that.
That kind of thing too, yeah.
Or you guys can, there's other guards to try to talk to, see if they know anything specifically. Something that.
Well, I would say that they would be the ones that would probably talk to the guards if you guys would want to. I would probably just continue walking around, looking at them. If I saw one that looked like, based on what we saw before with the elves and lizard folk being defaced, if I see anything that involves elves or lizard folk, find a place to sit there and just pretend like I'm taking a little break from doing some other things, or maybe I don't have a place to stay, so maybe this is where I'm gonna set up a little place to sleep or something like that, and just like keep an eye out for a little bit before I get up and move somewhere else.
Okay. You could do that. What about the other two of you? Do you want to follow him, or do you want to do your own thing?
Personally, I would follow with Xavi on that one. I wouldn't bother asking the guards, considering at this point, Hannah is already going to talk with the guards, so we're just going to get a repetition of information we find out from the guards from her the other day. So I would say it's more accurate if we do our own investigation, considering we just look like civilians at this point, so we can probably pick up a couple things that they can't. So I'd say check out some of the already damaged statues, see if there's anything they might have missed, or at least examine the ones that haven't been tarnished yet.
Okay. I'm gonna say that, given if you guys want to do that the rest of the night, is that kind of your goal? Until it gets to be sundown?
Unless
Kaya?
everybody has any other ideas.
Kaya? Unless you want to put on a show tonight. Oh, we're at the tavern.
You can do
No,
that at
I'm
sundown.
gonna be looking for lanterns though. I want to buy a lantern.
You guys could head towards the market district. And look out on your way there for statues and kind of kill two birds, one stone.
I'll do
There.
that.
Cool. So since you guys are going somewhere specific with a specific thing in mind at first, let's do a group perception, and I'll just average it out. And you guys are looking specifically not just for monuments, but ones that have already been destroyed. Is that what you're looking for? Or not destroyed, but defaced?
Both, technically.
Okay, so looking for any and all in general, and then specifically marking ones that you know have been hit. Okay. Kaya, what did you get?
I got a 9 plus 6, so that's 15.
Sabi?
I got a 9 plus 5, so that's 14.
And Ryan.
I'm looking at 13 plus 5, which is 18.
Okay. So, about a 16 between all of you. Fair enough. I was looking for 15. So, that works. So on your guys' walk from this area, and you can easily get to directions towards the market district, it's fine. Between your walk between there and where you're at in the market area, you guys come across a number of different monuments. Again, same thing as before. It's not always just statues. There are a significant number of statues, but there are some that are just simple art pieces that are supposed to be reminiscent of something. Like one is this intricate set of interlocking plates that's supposed to it's supposed to represent the chaos of war. But there are some that are like frescoes. some that are paintings, tapestries, what have you, but all have a specific marking on them, a gold plated title plate that tells you what it is and what it's about. The only one you guys found that didn't have that was the one that Orion had noticed that was missing a head. So you couldn't identify what that was. Overall, with that, I would say you guys find between there and the marketplace 20 monuments, and you find another 2 that are defaced in some shape. One is a intricate tapestry that is housed in a window of a business, but the window had been smashed, and it had gotten to, and someone had cut a piece of it out. And Orion, you would be able to read a little bit of this because you do speak and read Elven, correct?
Yes, I
Okay.
know how to speak Elven. I know how to speak Orc and Common.
So,
The one that I'm learning now is the Fey one that she's teaching me.
you would recognize a little bit of the wording on there, and it's cut off. But you see. How would I best describe it? The wording. I've translated it. You see a word that is smudged within the threads of the fabric, but really kind of paying attention to it because you can't get access to it because the business has it roped off and stuff. But from the distance you're able to look at it. The smudged area seems like it could either be take or accept, ACCEFT. Could be one of those 2 words, and the word after that is Murgunda.
Murgunda.
The second thing you guys find is another fresco, and this one looks like it's a it looks like it's a large keep, like in a fortress, keep, castle, what have you, that is done in the stereotypical styling, like architecture style of the elves, and which is mixes of stonework and very curved in some spots, but more jagged work, kind of like you think of Edo period Japan. That's the kind of style that Elven culture here, like architecture, looks like. And so it's a place that's kind of like that. Specifically, it looks like the castle in Kyoto. I don't know if you've ever seen the Kyoto Castle. It looks kind of like that. But it looks like someone had taken a sword, a chisel, something, and like broken it in a lot of pieces. And then there's some new pieces that have been thrown onto it that make it look like it's on fire, like dark stones, and make it look like it's got smoke billowing off of it. Pieces like that. But you also do notice, and I'm going to point this out now, that you're not only seeing monuments to Elven culture, or Elven / lizard folk, because they live together in Hokkaido and then extension Soriko. You see bits and pieces that are devoted to every side. Like you end up coming across a statue that is a hero of the human and halfling army, who had admittedly killed a lot of people from the Elven and Lizard folk side, but he was considered by the humans and the halflings to be a hero, and so yes, these monuments are in an elven settlement city, but they decided that this place needed to be a testament and monument to everyone that was involved in the Great War. There's no, in terms of the number of different monuments, there's no prejudice over which side gets mentioning. There's a distinct lack of forlearnum because they weren't involved. The people that live underwater, they didn't really get involved. They're like, we don't take a side unless you piss us off. If you do anything to ruin the water, then we'll come after you, landlubbers. But otherwise, no. You can use our waters, just don't pollute it. And they stayed out of it. But yeah, you see bits and pieces of every single ancestry that was involved in the Great War, given status of hero or person of interest. Just because this place is supposed to be a monument to everyone, it's supposed to be accepted by everyone. Because this city is ground zero of the Great War. This is where it started. But ultimately, you guys are able to get over to the marketplace. Before we get into the marketplace, does anybody have any comments to make about what you found? Okay. So once at the market district, which is not just like an open air market kind of deal thing, it's just a section of town where you find most of the shops. Again, here you don't see street vendors. It's just not a thing in this area. And weirdly, a lot of shops are closed. Some are shuttered, some are just empty. Some look like they have stuff in them and are just not open, just left abandoned. There are some that have smashed windows or smashed open doors that have since been pilfered. But this place is kind of emptying out. Obviously, you do still see some that are used, that are in active, business. But it's pretty empty comparatively. But you do find shops for pretty much anything you can imagine. You find a blacksmith, you find a bookshop, a couple general goods, some jewelry stores, anything you can really imagine besides. There at one time was a notable rune shop, and that is closed. But you were looking specifically, Kaya, for a lantern. And there is a general goods shop that you can peruse for that kind of a thing. And there are... Oh, there's only one now. Only one. And it is... the shop has a sign on top of it. It's a simple brick and mortar shop with a sign on it that says Minatoko Zaka, which, Orion, you can read and understand, is Elven for Port City General Goods.
I relay that to Kaya and tell her I think this is the shop we're looking for. It's a general goods shop.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I can read Elven.
Oh,
But I'll let him tell me like I didn't know I could read it.
you never mentioned it before when he was talking about stuff, so... So whatever.
That's how she surprises people. I know what you're saying about me.
All right.
That's the best part.
So you walk in, and there is a person working. There was one person working, and she seems to be doing all the work herself. She is a very tall elf. She is haphazardly dressed. Like, you can tell that she might have needed help getting dressed, like knowing what matches what. And so it's just kind of a hodgepodge of things. And she seems generally bewildered about everything in the shop. but when she sees you guys walk in, or all three of you walking in.
I'm walking in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when she sees all three of you walk in, she looks at you and goes, "Hi, welcome. What brings you in?"
I need a lantern.
A lantern.
Yeah.
Okay.
Inexpensive lantern.
That is yes. Yes. And she starts walking through the aisles, and she's kind of looking around, like, and she looks at you and like starts reaching for something, like, huh? And it's it looks like it's a bowl. She's like, huh? Uh-huh. No.
That's a bowl.
And she walks a little further down and finds me. She goes, ah, and she starts reaching again, and it's just a mirror. He's like, aha, yes. Mhm.
Do you know what a lantern is? Do you need some
Question.
assistance?
Do I see the lantern sitting anywhere?
Actually, yeah. From your vantage point, you'd be able to see what aisle they're in, and they're like two over from where she's at. There's about three.
I'm just gonna drift over there and like just gonna walk over there and pick it up and then walk back
Okay.
as she's going through the aisle, like maybe.
And so I'm going to point out too that everything in this place looks really shiny and like overly ornate. It all looks expensive. Even the lanterns are like polished and slightly bejeweled, you know, not with like actual jewels, but like made to look like it. And she says, "I'm sorry. I know exactly what you know it." And she walks over and she finds a grappling hook. And she picks it up and she goes, "This, correct?"
So close, but no.
Well, how about I leave you to peruse, and you come find me when you're ready.
Oh, okay.
All of my fine items for adventurer types like you. And me, I'm an adventurer at one time. I know what adventuring is.
Where have you adventured to?
Oh,
I want to hear a story.
Oh, I have been so many places. I have been to the one with the school, the place there. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, that place with the school, or perhaps you don't. Maybe somewhere you haven't traveled. So I mean, no disrespect. I've been to the place with the forests, tons of them.
Oh, perhaps you have been to the crumbling tower, or the House of Eternity, perhaps.
Oh, of course. I mean, those are adventuring mainstays. I know I've been there, with my compatriots. Yes, we've been to all of the big adventuring spots as adventures, and done many.
To Carapace, the Serpent King, perhaps as well.
Not only have I been there, but I fought him with
Really,
with
the
my
father of dragons.
yeah with my bow and arrow, and she's doing this motion.
You know,
But-
he's really much smaller than you expect.
Of course. But after my
As I'm sitting
adventuring,
by the counter, my tail holding the lantern by the handle.
and after my days of adventuring, I have settled and used my wealth that I've gathered as an adventurer to open this shop, and now I sell what adventurers would need.
Oh yes, you have been a great many places.
And you can tell by looking around, like, there's some stuff that's useful, like the grappling hook, and obviously you found um, the lantern, but most of this stuff is just like basic household items, just made to look expensive and useful. Um, and as is now obvious, she has no goddamn clue what she's talking about. She just is selling things because they're shiny.
You've removed the curses from all these items, right?
Of course. I myself am not privy to the arcane arts, but my old adventuring bloke was, and so he took care of that.
Okay. So I will take this lantern then. Surely it is not much. You know adventurers do not carry much gold on them, lest it be stolen.
Well, I mean, I guess that's correct. Yes. You know, all this money actually was just in. I had stored in the vault, little by little, over time, in the banks. Never on me at once. For that particular lantern, and this is a hooded lantern, as you can see. I do believe that I could part with that for a measly gold.
You said a measly copper, right?
Oh, it's gold. The one that is golden in color, in the shiny brownish metallic blue color.
I pull out a copper piece. I'm like, this one.
Make a thievery roll.
14.
14. Well, that's precisely it. As this is the color and you know, that is precisely what a gold is. I thank you for your patronage.
Do I
She
have
accepts
even
it.
a feeling like is she like all there? Is like something going on with her? Like anything that visibly shows off? Like is there like a sickness or anything? Just from how she's acting.
You know, I'm not gonna make you roll for this. It's pretty easy to tell. She's dehydrated, immensely, and she's just looking for money. So she's just saying whatever she can to make herself seem good. But she's dehydrated and she is overly hot. So it's just kind of warping her a little bit. She's a little bit slap happy. We'll call it that.
Now I feel a little bad.
Yeah,
I don't. She really
taking advantage of people.
Let's go! Thank you very much, my lady.
Is there anything else of my fine selection? Maybe peruse my weapons section?
Perhaps another time, and you can regale us with more of your fascinating stories of your adventures.
Will do.
Yes, we have a job to do to help the city.
I might have one too. Maybe I should go check. And she walks off to do her business. And as you guys turn to leave, you can distinctly hear her say, "I like them." And that is that.
I cannot let her know that I deceived her with a copper piece.
That's okay. All of the places she said she has been are in the first world, and she is very, very crazy right now.
So
Also, one gold piece of this?
Yes,
Um,
but her condition kind of tells us all that this city is in deep trouble, especially
Exactly.
the fact that a merchant can't even afford at least a drink of water. That just says this city is dying, which is even more disturbing.
Interestingly, anyone that wants to can make a crafting roll real quick.
Oh, I'm good with crafts.
Just out of curiosity, see if anyone can figure this out.
Nice. That's gonna be 22.
22. Okay, great. Go ahead.
I got a natural 20 plus 2, so that's also a 22.
Perfect.
I got a 50.
So you guys can tell, looking at this thing, all of the like the extra glamoury bits on this thing have made it less than useful. You're not gonna get as much light out of it as you probably should. Not to a noticeable mechanical degree. Like mechanic-wise, you're not gonna like go to a different light source, but it's not really well made. It's not good at being a lantern. And then you also know that had you paid a gold for it, you paid too much. This particular thing is probably worth like half that, maybe like 7.
I feel ripped off paying a
silver.
coffee piece. I was just gonna try and walk out with it, but I mean, somebody had to mention that I had a lantern.
So yeah,
You probably could
That's-
just
This
been
thing,
like,
no, I came in with it.
yeah, I came in with it. What are you talking about?
all
To be
right.
fair, at least let's keep this legal. You can never accuse someone of a crime if they successfully negotiated a deal.
True. And there are witnesses that it happened.
That's true.
Exactly.
There would have been witnesses that I walked in with it. I mean, come on.
Come on, Zavi. Let's not get in trouble on day one.
I'm not sure if Orion would lie for you like that. I would, but I don't think he would.
Yeah, you're right. I'll try and be better.
But first,
I have my
let's
fingers crossed.
All right. Anything else for you guys before you retire to your inn? Cool. All right. Kaya, are you going to be doing any performing there?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll give it a try.
So, earning income is an easy thing for you to do as a performer. Performance. Are you trained or expert?
Train.
Trained. Okay. So.
Can I give it to this performance? Like, be in the crowd just hyping it up a little bit?
Are you do the same thing, Orion?
I'm gonna do my sword dance and be elegant.
Okay. So yeah, you can get a +2 to the roll, an extra extra circumstance bonus for this. After a night of hanging out and coming back to the place, first, are you guys going to eat a small meal before you perform, or do you want to perform first and then see if you make money so you can buy food?
Yeah, I'll perform first.
Okay.
I'll perform first. Yeah.
Cool. So there is a small grouping of people here, not too small, maybe about 15 people that are hanging out in the bar or tavern area, getting food, having drinks. Mood is pretty dire as you guys come in, and in the tavern section of this room, it is built exactly what you would kind of imagine. There is a bar against the back wall. Where there is a person working, serving drinks and getting stuff together. There is a doorway behind that bar that goes into the kitchen area, and there's just a smattering of tables in the area. Across from the bar, on the very other wall, which would be, if you guys are looking at the place from the outside, the tip of the U that's where this area would be, is a small raised portion, a little stage, where you can do your thing. Uh, and so, um, uh, the the owner says that you guys are welcome to try to rouse the crowd. And says depending on how well you perform, um, she'll pay you for your time. She'll pay you even if you do poorly, but the better you do, the better pay you get. Um, and so, what are you specifically going to play? What kind of music? Something upbeat, super upbeat, or like start slow then ramp?
Yeah, I'll start slow and then I'll ramp to like jigs.
Okay. Go ahead and make a performance roll.
I was expecting some sort of like metalcore yodeling.
Go ahead and get a +2 circumstance to that as well.
Great. I got 17 plus 7, so 24 plus 2, 26.
26. Ooh, shoot. Alright, well, that would be a critical success. I was looking for 15. You said 26?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 11 higher than what I'm looking for. So you do outstanding performance. Everyone, it starts off nice, and people are like, "Hey, you know what? This is good music. This is good. I like this." And then when Orion starts, they're like, "Ooh, a show to go along with it." And you get to the music where you start noticing the moves that Orion is doing, and you're able to start changing the song to match his movements to make it like you're telling a story audibly with the music as he acts it out with his flourishes. Zavi picks the right moments to clap, the right moments to cheer, and all that working in tandem. No one really notices that Zavi's part of the three of you, and so people are like, "Yeah, that's good, yeah." And they start yelling and whooping in tandem with Zavi. You earn for the outstanding work that you've done on this 3 silver pieces for your work, and then you also earn an additional 1 piece. Well, actually, it's additional. Chris's rank is trained, so an additional 3. So a total of 6 silver pieces for your work. And everyone's quite happy to have you there. Happy to have you come back and do it again. And a couple of patrons say, "Are you going to be here tomorrow?"
Well, we have other business to take care of in and out of the city, so I shall be around. I just do not know when.
Okay, well, we do hope you are. That was the best thing, we've heard in a while. It seems you've started some sort of... People seem happier. Even after you're done, people are still sitting there eating their meals, and it starts to get more along the lines of what you hear from traditional inns, where you have people conversing and sharing stories, sharing drinks, buying meals for each other, buying meals and drinks. It gets pretty nice.
I walk up to you and I whisper, "Let them know you'll be in and out of here over the next 8 days."
Right.
So I stand in front of them. I'll be around for the next 8 days. And then we are headed to Hookhandle.
Also, from this, you find that you do not have to pay for any drinks or any meals. The patrons are so happy to have some excitement for once, they pay for you. So that is just straight money you've earned. After that, I'm assuming you are going to go to bed and retire for the evening. Okay. You all do, and before I skip to a small little piece in the morning, anyone have anything they want to do before the night ends?
Get food.
Yeah, people do. People come and bring you guys food all throughout the evening. Um, Finally, as you guys lay your heads down to rest, you notice when you first walk into your room, there is a fresh bowl of fruit, this time bigger. And it's nice and comfortable inside. There is a bedroll with a second bedroll underneath of it to provide extra cushioning. So whoever sleeps on the floor can have that. And you guys are able to go to bed for the evening and rest. The next morning, you awake, you knock on your door. And it, from the other side, you hear someone saying, "Hello, I have a message from Hana for you all. I have paperwork for you all to take." And with that, I think this is a good place to end tonight. I think we will pick everything up next time and see where this progresses and see what you guys can figure out with this information you have been given. So, that was session 2 of Tales of Engliria Campaign 1. We thank all of you guys for watching with us and sticking here with us while we sometimes stumble through the rules. I had to look up a few things throughout the night, but I got most of it. We are glad to see where this is progressing, and hopefully we get into some more action. Maybe some fights or something soon. I don't know, maybe we'll see. But we are happy you guys were with us, and we can't wait just to show you guys more. So, with all that said, please don't forget to like, please don't forget to subscribe, please don't forget to leave comments because we love those. And please also have a great night, great life, great week, whatever. Be great. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Take
joining
care.
us.